With us is Clement Pairot, who is part of the popular primary, one of the driving engines, and in fact is someone who I met as a bright young organizer on Bernie 2016, back when it all meant something. Clement, hello.
Hi.
Look, we've been talking with Nanon, your colleague and friend, and we've gotten kind of a lay of the land on the of the election landscape. Especially that the Republicans kind of maybe have some real momentum and that, could kind of run up the middle of the right, or however you want to define that. But talk to us more about the left. You had this popular primary. How did that all turn out, and where does it stand now, 90 days away from the election?
Okay, so we are around 59 days to the first round. 59 days to the first round, and at the moment the left is still in the mess. The offer of the popular primary was to have all the left citizens, affiliated citizens, to vote for the best candidate to aggregate the electorate. Fact is, the boycott of some parties led to a result, which is the proof that the citizens are very strongly demanding a gathering, because the candidate who won is the candidate who was supporting the idea of a gathering, a merge of the left candidacies toward a unique or an aggregated one to have the capacity to win, who is Christian Taubira. But at the moment, the clarity of the political chess is clearly not there, because we have concretely one more candidate. Fact is, she is a candidate who is still pushing all the other ones to talk, to negotiate, to find a way to win together, because at the moment they can't win. And especially, it's something important to see. Mélenchon says he is capable to win. He's actually technically in a very short and narrow path, capable to pass to the second round, but he can't win by himself the second round. So, and we are here to win, because if we just go to the second round and get defeated, it won't change anything for the daily life of French people.
No, absolutely. Do you think there is an anchor for a non-Mélenchon-led coalition of the left that can compete all the way into the second round? I mean, does he sort of prove himself to be the real anchor here? Or is it really a question of people just having a moment of good faith negotiating to sort of see what they can add together?
Mélenchon or not Mélenchon. The question is the dynamic that can, reasonably aggregate a majority of the electorate. And the current strategy of Mélenchon, who refused any kind of discussion with other parts of the left, is, I don't see personally, while I voted for him, I don't see personally how it can lead to an aggregated majority in the second round. On the other hand, you're right, some people in the center left are really in total reject of Mélenchon, and this is not a winnable position either. So we need to find a common ground about institutions, about the modernization of our democracy, and to find how we make that these people talk together, find a winnable path together. There is more than one role to have in our republic. President is one of them. There is something to deal, there is something to design, and it's now or never, because climate change is real, and it won't wait 5 more years.
Yes. The show, often we talk about kind of the new climate denial is not saying it's not happening, but just sort of refusing to address it aggressively enough. And I think we can see so many political parties falling short on that. And it's a shame because I do see in France sort of a more realistic sort of climate policy of like, these are the real numbers and this is real being pushed in a public discourse in a way it's not, say, in Germany and certainly not in America, but there's not this political force behind it. In fact, there is sort of, as you say, on the left still has not coalesced together. Let me just ask you one more question before you go, though. This was an interesting project to all of us who are trying to work continent-wide in Europe. Is, are primaries of the left possible, etc. What do you feel you've learned from running this first one, and what would you do differently next time so that we all, when we have a popular primary in Belgium next month, we know what we're doing? And we're not actually having one in Belgium, just an example.
So my 4 takeaways from this experience. First is, in France, political parties are pretty weak. So actually, citizens properly organized with organizing techniques are capable in a short time, a few months, less than a year, to have a base which is strong enough to compete in the narrative of legitimacy. In just a few months, we have aggregated 5,000 volunteers, 400,000 voters, while we had most of the political and mediatic chest against us. So that's my first takeaway. It's possible for citizens who want to organize beside the parties and all this dogmatic approach to organize to win an election. First. The second is that we don't need a candidate to win. We need ideas, process, trust, and sincerity. And this was what was combined in the popular primary. And I'm still surprised that we could have led such an inspiring campaign without any political figure in the lead of it. The third one is that the way of vote is an issue, and we raised it with the majority judgment vote. It's something that clearly questioned the single name vote and its ability to lead to a real majoritarian winner. And I'm very happy of that because it's a topic which is really rarely addressed. And the fourth one is that the current state of the media system, with very short topics, may that be in radio or on TV, make that it's clearly impossible to reflect innovative and complex initiatives like ours with such a lame approach of information, which gives way too much room to comment and editorial, while we need facts and explanations.
Those are good takeaways. I mean, I think we see everywhere also the press are continuing their role as referees and gatekeepers. Even when you play this outsider game, you need a couple insider stories about how an outsider game is interesting. And before that happens, you just don't even have a toehold in the kind of public imagination in which still name ID is king. You know, if people know what's going on, they know who you are, which is why candidates tend to outperform parties, organizations, good, whether they be based in good government or not.
And one last takeaway is nearly philosophical. We were in an approach of cooperation. We were trying to find common ground with actors which are on the same part of the political chess. But competition and lack of trust between them is so deeply enrooted in their mindsets that it's very difficult to lead to a cooperation approach. While actually climate change reminds us and forces us to find another way than competition to deliver for the best.
It's true. If we can't rethink small systems, it's only going to get harder and harder, which is, of course, why our lack of a great response to COVID really sort of makes one a bit pessimistic about this great embrace of change for to actually improve the climate. Well, we'll see what we have in us. But thank you so much for coming on and kind of closing a chapter on what happened in the popular primary and setting the stage for what we hope will be an interesting election, because it sounds like if it's a boring election, it will be, Macron, Le Pen kind of referendum. If it's a little more interesting, then it's Valerie, from the Republicans, and that's sort of scary. But we still want an election where people are making a choice between maybe a true left candidate and Macron. And you still think there's maybe a path to this?
There is one insight for you. Popular primary is switching from a process to a movement this weekend, and we are becoming the sunrise movement of France with our organizing, with our radical change platform. And I do believe that we are going to make the surprise of this election in the way we approach electorate, we mobilize, we organize, and radicalize the narrative. So let's keep in touch.
Yeah. Let's definitely check in then before the election. This is great. That is great to hear.
See you around. Thank you very much.